Hi everybody, some dumb guy here. July 2020. I recorded footage that I intended to use to launch my YouTube channel. Almost 4 years later, I actually started and launched that YouTube channel with excerpts and then the full run of that actual footage. That was 1 year ago this month, today being March 27th, 2025. And I thought, what better way to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of my channel, and also thanks to some people who have commented on that original footage. What a great thing to revisit for me what started it all. Almost 5 years later, and then 1 year anniversary after my launch. I'm back here today, and we're going to visit an iconic group of filming locations. And there's going to be others recorded today at the same time that we posted in separate videos, because this is an area that has seen a lot of independent, separate film shoots over the years, and I'm here. I'm going to make the most of it as I can. So I've just arrived, and for this particular filming location, released August 13th, 1982. IMDb states that this film was shot in January and February. If accurate, I'm pretty much the same time of year. However, see all this greenery? That was also present in the film. I can't see that being the case in January, February. We're still in winter, still cold, still rainy, not a whole lot of sun to be growing all this stuff. But, oh, look at that. Cloudy and overcast. When I was here 5 years ago, I was traipsing through this area around noon in July, and it was about 100 degrees. It kicked my ass. So, all this is working out very well. Now, again, I just arrived on location after passing through several other sets, and I stumbled across something I did not expect at all. So hopefully this is a treat. I don't know if anybody's been in here to shoot footage of this location recently. I need to do a search on that. If not, I might be the first to actually get to reveal some of this stuff. So there it is. 5 years ago, I walked up to this. It was dry, it was hot, it was dusty, and it was weedy. But more importantly, what I walked up to was complete destruction and ruin. 5 years later, somebody is in here restoring this. My friends, my viewers, I'm revisiting the Friday the 13th Part 3 filming location. Somebody has rebuilt the dock. It was a complete collapsed ruin underneath decades of tree debris. I'm assuming the same people have dug out the lake set. Someone has dug out the lake set. And now the quote-unquote island with the tree in it from the film has revealed almost all of this was completely leveled over with what looked like sand. Now, obviously, when the film was shot, we had sand here for the shoreline up to the water. I walked through all of this, and you could see the top layer of that border there. All this was visible, but appeared to be leveled out. And this is just something I was completely not expecting. So there's a hollowed out area here. I'm gonna climb into Crystal Lake for a second here. Oh, I'm drowning. Help, help, help. Let me out, let me out. I don't get what this is. These rock formations, this is all new. Oh, okay. Something's really going on here with this location. Apparently this isn't all just necessarily being restored for Friday the 13th Part 3 purposes. This appears to be reutilized for a whole nother film shoot or TV or something. Investigation is in order, but we're going to insert footage thanks to some suggestions by some of my viewers. We're going to be looking at this, and we're going to be doing some comparison of this dock versus the original dock, because this is very, very, very similar. This, I know this is very hard to tell. I'll zoom out a little bit. This is entirely recessed by approximately 2 feet from the level of everything else. If that was the case from back then, that would have allowed for some film shots, make the water deeper. When Shelly jumps out of the water to grab Vera, who's sitting on the end of this dock. And of course, she would have been standing approximately right here when Jason strolls out, stands behind the lamppost, fires a harpoon. Here-ish. Right around this vicinity, of course, would have been where Chris was in her rowboat when she bumped into the logs and trying to pull herself away. And then later on, as decrepit Mrs. Voorhees jumped out of the water to pull her in, as Voorhees are wont to do, soggy and such. So I had no idea. You check original footage. I don't remember if this was here. I remember that pipe for runoff being there, although it doesn't seem to connect to anything, so I'm not sure that's just staged in itself. You can see right through it. It's kind of reminiscent of the pipe Chris and Rick were sitting in front of when Chris was telling him her story of her first encounter with Jason, but I'm pretty sure that pipe was larger. We'll insert, of course. And then things go off. This had to have been a huge undertaking to clear out all this, not only the sand, but the debris over the years. Clearly they didn't do anything to seal this, just like they didn't do in the original shooting. So whatever film or television shoot was intended, they did the same thing, presumably, and the water drained out the same way. How cool is that, just to get to walk up on this dock? Moreover than that, I get to stand on the dock. I walked over its debris 5 years ago, and that was the closest I could ever come. Now, revisiting this location, I'm lamenting not taking a little piece of it as a souvenir, because there's nothing left. It's all gone. Possibly. Now, one other interesting aspect of this, the windmill is gone. More importantly, there's the top of it. Now, that windmill in its entirety was lying down flat in that location when this spot was used for the opening of Friday the 13th Part 4 when they revisited this location. It was then, afterwards, assembled here where the well pump shed was in Friday the 13th Part 3. The windmill, I guess, is using an alternate form of pumping action, wind powered, which can get pretty crazy. When the wind was blowing, that thing was really loud, bumping up against the trees. By the time I was here, all this trees, and I think there was another tree here even, had grown up so thick up here around it that the propellers were lodged in place, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I had seen some footage from Adam the Woo's visit, and he got a little breeze action when he was here, which a lot of background noise. But they've clearly done a darn good amount of work. I don't know what the deal is with this. I hope everybody can hear me okay. That was a large number of complaints I got in my original footage, that my audio was really bad, and it's something I was never able to figure out. So I apologize to all you. When I would listen to my raw footage or listen to it on YouTube, either on my iPhone or my iPad, everything came through just fine. There's the well. So I'm hoping I'm not having that same problem this time. So the shed next to the dock from the film was originally located here, replaced with the framework and all that, which looks like just a top taken down. I don't see any of the old structure that was carted away apparently. Low bridge. Okay, I'm doing it. I know it's not the same, but it's the closest probably any of us will ever come to walking the dock. To. Hi, Rock. Vera would have sat here. Legs dangling over the water. Shelly jumps out, grabs her foot, scares the hell out of her. Sometimes I wondered if I actually ever make it back. It's something I've been thinking about doing for like the last 6 months or so, to revisit this in general. Try to do better than my initial thing, because I was new to all this and I wanted to see if I could do better for myself, for everybody else. And then the anniversary idea popped up. This is like a stuffed animal. Apparently the rodents like it. Fluffy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember that rock either. Ain't no way I'm getting that log out of here. But I'm taking a piece if I can get one. I just want to take this moment in a little bit. Stupid alligator. I did it. I'm not greedy. I just took a little bit off that post. I'm hopeful that it was from the original dock. I might have to take that one on faith, because I don't know that there's going to be any way I can confirm that one way or the other. Or it's the access road that was always there but never seen in the third film. However, if memory serves, in part 4 at the beginning, when all the emergency response personnel leave that night after collecting all the bodies of the victims and Jason as well, they'll leave this way. We never see that. Incidentally and strangely, in my opinion, you know, at the very end of part 3, when the officers take Chris out of here, they go out the same way on the opposite end of the property that Chris and her friends drove through in and out. And of course, we all remember her van got stranded on that bridge, and the planks began to collapse under the weight of the vehicle. which means emergency personnel would have had to shown up, hook it up to a tow truck or whatever, paint it to a car and drag it out, and then somehow safely traverse that. 5 years ago, I looked at this. Here's the dock. I think I strolled straight up this way, which now is a really kind of a steep incline. I could never see any evidence of whatever this is in the film. It's been here for decades. Much of the tree has grown around it. I wonder if it's some kind of bracing, because this oak tree has an incredibly sturdy long branch. It's now resting on the ground here. But I'm wondering if this was some kind of brace originally. It's very strange looking if it is. Just wondering if it was used to hold this up from breaking. I mean, even some of the other branches themselves are growing into each other. Very cool tree. Good job, tree. We're not here to look at trees. We're here to look at things like that. Back of the fireplace. Stand by. I think I recall this being some kind of assembled structure 5 years ago. Almost like some kind of framework for a wagon or a cart. This would be the foundation for Higgins Haven's home porch on this end. A scene we will never be able to recreate because of this decades-old tree now. But Shelley would have been sitting right behind me on the deck, on the little swing chair, looking straight out at Vera walking out onto the dock, which clearly can't see that either. Lamenting that she did not have the same level of attraction for him as he had for her. That's all we can see of the dock from here. Sloppy. Starbucks cups, buckets, painting supplies, all left here. It's all the piping from the pump that they used to presumably fill the lake for whatever various purposes they've used it for over the years. Gosh, I'd really like to know what the heck they shot here most recently. I want to see what they did with it. Stand tall and strong, Fireplace. I know you're not doing well, but you may be the last thing that survives here. I'm hoping I'll find something, some little bit of evidence. At some point, I'll present something else I found on my way in here. And I really wish now I'd held on to all my unused original footage, because I encountered several different sets, and walking through one of them today, it's been redesigned and repurposed as an Old West town in the last 5 years. And I strolled through briefly, even though I wasn't going to until my way out, into what was an old saloon for this. And I found a portion of a script, and it might have enough information that I can find out what was shot there, so that'll be cool. I may try to shoot some more footage of it on my way out as well. So this is going to spawn a little bit of a series. Somewhere here, I think that's too close. I swear I saw it 5 years ago. Somewhere here, guessing where these rocks are, would have been the side steps coming out of the kitchen. Those are some very large ants. They won't stand still in one place for too long. Anyway, That would have been the side kitchen door where Shelly collapses dead at Chili's feet. Ooh. Ants. Note to some dumb self, when you see large ants and say, hey, probably shouldn't stand still in the same place for too long, look at where you're standing. I had to do a little shake and shimmy and pounding my feet and shoot. Oh my gosh, I had like probably 6 or 7 of these big ass bastards crawling right up my legs. Tell what all this is that I was standing in. It looks like, could this be barfed up owl food or shit out barf food? No, there's a bunch of little, these are remains of something or other. Obviously it's been eaten because there's a bunch of little bone fragments and such, probably like little mice and such, but I don't know if there's an owl living in this tree above me or that's his feeding ground. I don't know. But those are large. And that one looks fresh-ish. Much more than the others. Ew. Alright. What's that? Well, I'm standing within the ruins of the old foundation of Higgins Haven's home. Trying to read the word, the name, whatever, in the concrete here. Looks like it says Billy, maybe. B-I-L-L, possibly Y. Something, D-E-R-R-O, maybe. It doesn't mean anything to me. The lucky individual getting their name in this. This is the outer edge of the foundation. There's another wall or something that goes further in here. And that in itself is interesting. Recall, if you will, from the film. And I'm gonna go back over and narrate this. Hold on. Hey, back on the deck, obviously. Now recall, if you will, Jason, immediately after killing Vera, he's still standing here next to the light post. Drops his harpoon. We see him walk up casually, looks at the house, basically in this general area. His eyes go up to the lit window in the second story, which would be where Andy and Debbie were staying. And as he's walking, he stops, he kind of looks up in that general direction. You see the house, you see the window, but off in this direction here, and I've never been able to figure this out. I mentioned it in my last video that I did on here. There was what looks like a wall, a roof, a section of some other structure that was behind the house. And you only see it briefly. You can't see it at any other point in the film as far as I'm aware. But there's something there and I've never been able to figure it out. And now I'm looking. We've got this tree here. Got the fireplace, the door, the window. It was back there somewhere. And where I was just at with this, whatever that little foundation bit was, it didn't seem to me to be attached to the house. But whatever this is, see that bit of concrete, follow this line, got this edge here that goes straight on back from it. It almost looks like there's something like a little cutout that goes along here. I can't help but wonder, maybe, Doc. I can see little bits of Doc right there. The angle's about right. I don't know. But the house, Higgins Haven, fireplace. I don't recall that from 5 years ago. Got some foundational pillar stuff. The big hole has been largely filled in. Is that from with leftover sand or dirt or whatever from digging out? Not very tightly packed. I think that sinkhole was there before as well. This is the part that's been pillaged the most by people. Everybody wants a piece of the fireplace, apparently. I'm going to do some comparisons here as well to see just how much this thing is degraded in 5 years. Structurally, it still looks strong. I mean, it is made of brick, presumably. That's what I'm seeing here. All this rock and everything mortared in around it. This still hurts me in the feels when I come out here. Now, they say that this house burnt down when some dumbasses came here to camp out overnight, some fans, and lit a fire in here. And they say, well, this isn't actually a real fireplace, which is interesting because it's got a damper. Of course, everything is so rusted out, I don't even want to bother to try to play with that. But you get up in there, and it's very clearly no openings that I can see for smoke. Well, what's that? Maybe there is. I mean, there was a fire in this thing in the film. If it wasn't a real fireplace, how is that possible? But I'm sure as hell seeing right there, sure looks like that this was a functional fireplace to me. Now, maybe the damper was closed and they were too stupid to open it. Or possibly there was, it's back in 2005, so there could have been plenty of tree debris up in that. Got it all choked up. I don't know. But again, it's just depressing. There's plenty of charred wood in here. It's just a structural lumber bracket. But yeah, it just seems to me this thing was intended to be functional and utilized by people who didn't know how. I'm sad. All the identifying rocks, well, not all of them, obviously. This one here can be clearly seen and identified in the film. I'm standing at a much lower level because there's no floor in here anymore. I'm just on the ground. You know, you think the destruction of this thing is almost intentional because it's only the front face and the house facing side. Why is the rest of it so okay? Is it because only the recognizable parts of it for people they want to take? I don't know, but we're already beyond that. You know, you've got little bits and pieces like so. Is that part of it? I can't tell. There's so many different kinds of rock in here. I don't know. It makes me sad. The landing for the stairs to go into the side door, Higgins Haven. This little bit here, clearly seen in the film. Right here, the base of the steps would have been where Rick met his demise. As he was hanging over here, being held by Jason, kicking, not quite being able to get his leg high enough, as Chris poked her head out the front door, calling for him. His leg kicking up, not quite getting high enough over the level of the deck for her to see. The deck, of course, would have went straight out this way, pointing at the dock. A A lot of nails here all of a sudden. I don't recall all those last time. Steps that would have went up around here. Around this direction, we would have had the entrance to the cellar, which is still here. And why there's this hole here, is that just another sinkhole? We don't know. My last visit, I tried to lift the plywood to see what was underneath. It wasn't happening. It's not happening now. Who knows? The bottom of this hole, I now recall, was the old motorcycle frame that a few years before, some footage was captured of it being on the outward side of where the bridge out of Higgins Haven over the Baranka went, the man-made Baranka, just for this film. I'd heard it tell, I think, by someone in my comments, one of the motorcycles belonging to Fox, Ali, or Loco that someone claimed was just left behind on set. Was it burned? Was it in the fire? Was it burned? I don't know. But it used to be way out that way. When I was here, it was here. Is it buried under this dirt? Was it taken out? We'll probably never know. Really wish I knew there was any significance to that. I do not. Another new addition to the property, right over here, where the outhouse was that Chuck visits. Now has a pole bracing the branch up. Somewhere here is where the outhouse was. I'm not exactly sure. It was dark. A lot of the perspectives in this film are really bizarrely thrown off. We get the opening scene when Chris and her friends come to the house, and they go in, and Chris is with Debbie, showing her where she and Andy will be sleeping. And it's her old bedroom with the hammock in it. The location of the bedroom is made pretty clear from inside, and it's the window that would be just to the side over here of the fireplace. And yet Chris looks out the window and sees in the opposite direction. Oops. It's always kind of funny that that was the thing. One of my commenters also brought to my attention a very good question. Not only why was there an outhouse here, but why was Chuck using it when we know that there was a bathroom in the house? Now, I can only conclude that Chris's father, living here permanently, temporarily, or whatever, we don't really know, living with a wife and a teenage daughter, you know, sometimes a guy's just got to take a shit. And he can't always wait for all the women of the house to finish using the bathroom. So maybe he built the outhouse. Maybe the house was that old where it originally had an outhouse and then later indoor plumbing was added. And they're like, you know what? It never hurts to have a spare just in case. We'll leave the outhouse. I don't know. We don't know. It's one of those silly things that, you know, it is what it is until we think about it. God, I like being here this time of year. It's quiet, it's peaceful. I hear nothing but the animals and my own ramblings. Birds. I'm gonna go visit the Windmill here. Somewhat recent tire tracks. Let's see. Well, there's our Windmill. As I said, it was originally in the beginnings of part 4, lying right about here. There's the house, foundation. There's the lake and dock. It would have been lying here. I think it's seen 2 separate times in the opening of part 4, lying on its side prior to being installed there. Oh, its only relevancy at this point is the fact that it was here on the set for part 4 and that it has been relocated. Will it spin? It spins. Just came around to the other side. Saw this. V Air Motor, USA. It's weird. The indentations look like they came from the back side. Maybe some buckshot pellets or something. I don't know. It spins. I almost feel like I'm a contestant on The Price is Right now. I don't know if it's spinning the right way, but it spins. Wow. Still surreal. Ooh, a burrow. Who lives in here? Somebody does. That thing goes way down there. Wow. So, right through here would have been the road to the bridge. Being completely not used since whenever the bridge burnt down. I don't know if that was related to the 2005 fire or not. All grass has grown over. There's no evidence a road ever was there. This road was always there, just cleverly disguised by filming techniques to be able to get in and out of the property the same way that one was. So it's kind of interesting. You build with the Baranka over here, goes up, and build an artificial extension arm. Goes along here. This is the original natural one. They build an extension that jots over here at 90 degrees, dead ends right before it gets to the access road, and then build a bridge directly over it. All for dramatic purposes, because we want to make a cool bridge scene. And you see this raised berm, that's where the wings would have gone up and over where the bridge was and is no longer. Last time I was here, I had difficulty I think these are more rocks from the fireplace. It's obviously some kind of maybe construction adhesive residue or something. And this is the kind of thing that really bothers me about places like this. It's not a quick and easy thing to get here. People that were here, you would think they would be remnant of why they're here and appreciate it. And yet, they'd be dumb, they'd be stupid, they play their games, and they leave destruction in their wake. This is the end of the artificial Baranka on the other side of this tree here. Right there, that white stretch or light colored, that's the road. So here, little concrete base. I think pretty much that's a little bit maybe on the other side somewhere. Right there for the other side. This burnt. It's awful straight. It could be remnants of a tree, or it could be the last bit of the bridge. I'm not sure. Was it that 2005 fire from the house? Possible, depending on what time of year it was. There's a lot of oak trees and such that could have carried the fire this way. Or another fire unrelated. We go over here, drops down into the rest of the Baranka. Chris would have come here, gotten stuck. Jason would have ran up from behind. We see him come around this tree. He runs up. Boom. She jumps out, goes down the Baranka with him chasing after. And we see it from the other side. There's the original road as it tracks out. I believe it meets up with another road and goes back this way, although I've never walked back that way to confirm. I think this is the road going in, trees. This should be right along here. They would have come in the van at the beginning of the movie. And I think you can see the branch off here, this way. But they go this way, I believe, is what you can see. And we'll, of course, confirm. But we would have come through here and would have had, I think there was some kind of equipment or something here. And there would have been the Higgins Haven sign. And the van, Chris's van driving over, would have passed over the bridge here. There's the last bit of that concrete bit. I was standing over on that side before. You see here, it goes over this way. It looks like underneath this piece it's collapsing because the angle changes straight and then go down this way. Still not sure. That looks awful rounded. It's just interesting that it fell and it's that straight, but I'm guessing that that's actually part of a tree. There's a lot less debris here, I think, than there was 5 years ago as well, for the most part. They probably cleaned a lot of this out for the filming. Said Chris would have run down after dark and just running through that. It would have been a little hazardous for her and for Mr. Booker, Jason, more concrete, to just go running down through here at night. Crazy set lights glaring all over the place. And just to run down through there. Or she would have jumped down. I'd like to say I saved the best for last, but in light of the lake and dock reconstruction, this is still the best for last, but it's a contender. Shall we? What are you guys doing in there? Are you doing something I shouldn't see? 5 years later, I'm back. Well, right away, I'm going to express some disappointment. For those who watched my first video here, it's gone. The rope that came out of the ceiling here is gone. And it's funny, because look, it's like they just glued on panels now on top of the original boards. It's got a bunch of acorns and such in there stashed away by, I'm gonna guess, birds. Look at that. Oh, wait. Oh. Oh my. The rope is still here. Bet you over the years, birds been picking away at it for nesting material. Salvation. I thought that was a light bulb at first. Tacked on pane of glass to cover the missing pane, huh? This is a rat haven. I do not lie. I don't want to be in here too long, although I'm probably safer than I was in the summertime with everything being as hot as it was. This is one of the two modified walls I mentioned. These two extensions that were not here in Friday the 13th 3, and I don't think any of this was here either last time I was here. Really love to be able to find a source, you know, to learn like, oh hey, these are all the film shoots that have occurred here over the years, what they are, when they happened, because I'd really like to know. I'm gonna track things over the years. I remember there being some holes in the ground here. There's a few. The earth is incredibly loose. Almost like someone's come in here recently and put some in. I'm obviously going to have to be careful going upstairs. Somebody didn't listen. Speaking of ropes missing, that one's gone. Now, I'm still not sure which window. We know which one Shelley peeked into or tried to. But early on in the film, Jason's in here. He's looking out one of these two windows. And in another goof on the film, we see Andy and Debbie, who had just come back from swimming at the lake, which is out that way. Jason's looking at him. And they're walking this way towards him at the barn. And the house and the lake are that way. And they start walking here like they're going to the house. And Andy expressed an interest in coming in, and he's about to, but Debbie doesn't want to come. She wants to go back to the house. He stops, he thinks about it for a sec, and he runs off. Did that save his life for the moment? Possibly. But why are they walking off towards the Baranka, which is right here, when the house is over there? Shame. Should I lock myself in again before I leave? I gotta be more worried about getting up these steps, so I'm turning a bit recording off. I made it. It's not sweltering up here. There's still a lot of rat mess, but not nearly as much as there used to be. So again, something's been going on around here. Interesting. Random table. Random boards. Who and why and what, we do not know. Now, kind of a spoiler alert. One of the other film shoot location things I'm going to do for my footage is for the series Westworld, which was also filmed on this property, and one scene in particular in this barn. So stay tuned for that. Of course, we have to check this out no matter what while we're here. Pitchfork marks for Fox's demise. She's stuck through the neck right there. Those are the only two pieces that went into the wood. The other two were cut off, so obviously they weren't literally killing her, which we don't want. She was dangling here, feet hanging over the edge here. We would have had hay stacked up all over the place here. Our good friend Rick hoisting up bales of hay. House, dock and lake, maybe not, ish. Chris down below, securing bales of hay. This area fenced in. Rick hoisting them up, trying to secure himself a little freaky time. Our hoist would have been hooked up somewhere here. That looks a little too far away, but there's definitely some hooks that nowhere would have been strong enough for that. Or as Chris would have pushed Jason right off the edge here. Oh, sorry birds. You guys sure have one heck of a supply of acorns stashed away. Good planning. Yep. Chris would have rolled Jason right off after securing the rope around his neck, and it's the old ladder coming up the side here. Long gone, replaced with the stairs I came up. All the little corrals and everything removed. This whole barn's undergone many alterations over the last 42 years, 43 years. But I get to be here, get to experience the history of this place again. Will I ever return? I don't know. And my other commenters in my first video spoke about the property owner allegedly wanting to restore all this to its original purpose and do some kind of Airbnb setup. It's not really feasible. If you've ever been here before or not, it's a good probably 2-mile drive in on a dirt road that's rough and bumpy. And that road is shared by several different properties as an access easement point. Then you come onto this property, and it's another mile in of similar roads, driving through several film set locations. I just don't see it happening. Although I'd love to see the house restored. I don't trust people. And although I'd probably want to be one of those first in line to stay. I don't know. I just don't think it's a worthwhile idea. I'm gonna see if I can go down without killing myself. Ooh. We live. I have to see if I can do this one more time. I just do. My audio really better be coming through this time, because this is a new iPhone compared to what I used my film shoot last time. New video, new audio. Same thing I record all my other videos in. I can always hear myself there. Nobody's ever complained or commented they can't hear me on those. Cane bolt there. Cane bolt up here. Don't really look like they're gonna do much to secure this place, but oh, is there a hole there? Yeah, there is. Yeah. Somebody wanted that door secured for some reason. That one just goes straight into the dirt, it looks like. Oh, wait. There's the... I'll be able to get it in there. Oh, somebody wired that thing in place, so I guess I'm not going to lock the door after all. Not entirely. Obviously, a whole new locking mechanism from what Chris utilized in the film. The doors, I think, have been replaced because there's no evidence of that mounting system, the brackets and everything to secure the board across. So that when she finally got herself back down to ground level, pushed this door open, only to find Jason hanging right there, ready for more. We always close the doors when we leave. Can't latch it though. Windows were always there. All the lighting fixtures above the windows are gone. Those I don't think were there. Of course, we had the rocks and the fence that used to go all the way around, and the gate up front where Rick drove his car in when he got here, and Shelly and Vera drove that old VW out across the bridge when they left to go to the market, which is a considerable drive from here. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to go back to the other two locations. I'll probably spend another hour and a half extra just on the road alone to get to them. Was it this first window that Shelly went to? Or was it the second? I don't know how I didn't realize this from inside or any other time, but these windows don't even match. Do they in the film? I must investigate. You can see all this has been replaced. You see the seams and the boards there? All that's been redone at some point. Maybe that had a similar kind of alcove built outward as the other side at some point. Roof panels keep getting blown off. A lot of the nails are working their way out, I can see. I don't know if you can see that in the footage. You see all those nails. We have to be grateful that the barn has endured as long as it has, with a little bit of help, clearly. We've got the Baranka again. Bridge will been right over there. Chris comes running down. Jason hot on her tail. She comes around over there. Ooh, hey, cinder block. She runs up right down the side of the barn, gearing up for the epic finale. Well, it's too bad I can't ask you folks what you think about the other two locations while I'm live. Or about anything else you want to see or go through perspective-wise while I'm here. Going on 1:45 in the afternoon right now. So Even from here alone, it's going to take me a good hour, 25 hour, 30 minutes at minimum to get home. Huh. The sad thing is those other two locations aren't really worth visiting on their own, which would be the two Crystal Lake markets featured in the film. The first one at the beginning, which is nothing but this, essentially, because it also burned down and there's nothing but a foundation. And the last time I was there, I was only able to take a couple pictures because there's a home or two right next door. And there was a man outside working on his car at one of the homes. He was eyeballing me quite a lot. Talked to me really briefly. He was nice and everything, but I just kind of made it out like, hey, I'm on a road trip. It's freaking July. It's hot as hell. I need to stop and get out, stretch my legs, have a sip of water. And I discreetly pulled my phone out, took a couple snapshots. The other market, I don't know. There's more there than just that, but only for this film. There's some other stuff that's utilized for another film shoot right across the street. But I might make that a combined trip with something else because there's a whole nother feature that I want to make that one way or the other, I'd have to pass through one or the other to get to each of them. So possibly a little bit later on, but I don't want to wait too much later in the year because I tackled all those locations 5 years ago. Jesus, it's been that long already. Wow. Yeah, hot as hell, miserable. I don't want to endure that again. Those little stacks of rocks. This reminds me of the Blair Witch Project. Come on. My zoomie is funky. My zoomie did something. Hold on. There we go. Blair Witch Project rocks. I don't remember what the heck I was saying now. The other shooting I want to do here, I don't know. I don't think it's going to play out very well. But yeah, Baranka comes through, crosses the road here, which probably spills over and floods every time you get a rainy season. It's interesting. Too small to be drainage. Can't imagine where it would go to be pressurized. It's only a 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Baranka continues on this side of the road, down that way. Is that a roadway? Not too far from here, less than 1/4 mile, which I will visit on my way out, of course, is the area where the beginning of part 3 is filmed, apparently. Little shack that they used for filming the post machete and the shoulder blade area when you see Jason crawl off at the opening of the film after the montage. Was the outhouse relocated? And this is the remnants? I don't know. Old Western type cabin. This building here in the back behind there is allegedly where the Jason removal of the machete scene took place, beginning of part 3. We're gonna take a look at that in a sec. So the door is struggling a little bit. I was able to get it most of the way open. I'm not going in here because I remember it being really nasty, but obviously full of crap now. This right here is allegedly where that scene was filmed. I don't know. It was there or in the back section. There's really no frame of reference to confirm that one way or the other in the film. There's no windows on this back side. Oh, there is, but there's one. See, this is how they repurpose things around here. Window, panels boarded up. That's what we're seeing on the inside. So who knows? Could be, could not.